Hey, welcome back to Dynamic Alignment Bodywork. This is Liam. Happy Friday after a week off for the fourth last week. We're back to talk for a few minutes about reciprocal inhibition, which I thought was an important topic to present. I know it sort of changed the way that I view movement, and especially something like stretching. And that's what I want to talk about today. Sort of written a little bit about this, and there's a lot in the fitness world right now about how stretching is seen much more as a neurological activity and less as sort of a mechanical one. And by that I mean it's largely your system adapting around a new position. So that was me stretching. We'll get to that in a second. But adapting around a new position versus mechanical tissue lengthening per se, like if you were put on a stretcher kind of thing. So if you're opening up your chest wall, it's your physiological process of adapting around that, again, versus like if something just came up and tore you apart without you even knowing it. That would have a much less lasting effect. So, reciprocal inhibition is a pretty cool little phenomenon, and there's an easy test to feel it in yourself, and that is we'll work on rotation of the neck, which is a good one. A lot of this is geared towards if you're sitting at a computer right now. Hit pause, close your other browsers, and try this out. So here's how it'll look. Let's do a pre-test, which is you'll turn to your right, and let's just stay with one side. Turn to your right. See how that is. About how far you go. You're not maxing or rotating into your trunk. This is just a head and neck thing. Okay. Now you're going to take your own hand, your right hand, put it on the side of your head, and you're going to start to turn your head, and this is like 20 to 30% maybe power. You're not smashing your face into your hand, but you're doing the same motion, rotation, but you're stopping it with your own hand. So again, if you had your way, so to speak, if your head won, it would go like this, but you're keeping it there. So I'm turning, rotating my head to the right, and so start doing that if you're not already. We'll do this for about 10-15 seconds. So I'm rotating to the right, again, not super hard, but also enough where I can feel it. If I took my hand away, my head would definitely move. So rotation, you can push even a little bit of lateral flexion where you're kind of pushing into your hand, and let that go. And relax for a moment. And now go ahead and let's do a post test where you turn to your right. And notice quality of movement. If that feels any easier, maybe harder, but probably for almost all of us it feels easier. And notice if you go further, and most of us will. I know I certainly notice that in myself right now. And you can compare it to your other side, which we didn't really do a pre-test there, but again, just to sort of get a feel for that. Let's try the other side. So again, you look to your left, do reciprocal inhibition. This can kind of look funny at your office desk, but whatever. Okay, where you're turning your head to your left, sort of for bonus points. You can think about your whole cervical spine rotating instead of pushing into one of the vertebrae. If this can be a whole column of your neck is rotating to your left. A few more seconds, a couple deep breaths, and let that go. And again, post-test. So turn your head to the left. Go ahead and check back out on the right. We're doing this right. There's not necessarily a range of motion lost on either side, right? This is part of a nervous system waking up. And a couple practical applications that I find and that you can carry into your life. One of the things that we see a lot, kind of the classic thing that people don't like in our shoulders, right, is being pulled forward. So, opening up here and kind of stretching this way, you can start to look at this less of and play with these principles of reciprocal inhibition, less like we're stretching and prying open, and more like, okay, what happens if I just engage the tissues on the backside, which is a different beast. They're similar, right? But instead of using my rib cage to kind of open up here, I'm more or less maintaining the same position, and I'm starting to squeeze my shoulder blades and all of that back tissue together pretty lightly, right? So this is the other side. I'm going in the position I want. And in this case, I don't have to hold my hand there, right? My own structure is sort of the resistance to that. But I'm opening up and squeezing. Now pushing forward. The point isn't movement. The point isn't a new position. The point is to engage the tissue on the back. So that might look like a little bit of a new position, right? It's going from here to here, but not a big one. So I'm engaging, it's hard to see, but I'm like squeezing my shoulder blades in towards my spine and all of that tissue here without actually changing the position of my chest much. If you've been doing that this whole time, if not, you can go back, 30 seconds and do that. Again, about the same amount of engagement, maybe 30 seconds, and then let it go. So your position hasn't changed much. But then if you feel into range of motion here, and maybe even just your sitting position, I know mine starts to feel a little bit different. I'm really fond of the verb waking up. It's kind of like waking up the backside, which I'm going to get in this trance, right? This is short, this gets long. I'm looking forward all day here. The trance is I'm not doing very much rotation. And these reciprocal inhibition techniques, where I'm inhibiting, but the reciprocation part is it's allowing me eventually to have the movement that I want, is a bit of neurological waking up out of a pattern that we can tend to fall into more easily. So the neck rotation and the engaging the back tissue, again, I know it's subtle to watch on a video, but imagine all of me is gently squeezing together, my shoulder blades are drawing back and down a little bit. Holding that position for maybe 30 seconds each can be a nice alternative and thing to play with, an alternative to more of a mechanical view of stretching where you're but where you're prying yourself open. This can be, again, look at like waking up the backside of you. So, I hope that helps. As always, that's this week's tip. If you like these videos, you can subscribe. You can subscribe to my email newsletter where I send out videos like this and other articles, and of course subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like to work with me, make an appointment or come on in. See you next week.